Start this video off by saying I don't hate Arkham Knight. Arkham Knight is an okay game. I just think that it has a lot of problems, and for people to say that it's the best out of the series, I'm like, how is that possible? But yeah, I just want to clarify that before I get into the video. Okay, so Arkham Knight. It's kind of a disappointment. I mean, it's just, I don't really like the idea that they were going for it. It feels like that they just kind of wrote it as they went along. I feel like to do this video, it'd be a little bit easier just to break it up into sections and then talk about the sections that way, so that you guys can understand what I'm getting at. But alright, let's get on to Act 1, characters. Okay, what I really want to talk about is, first of all, the relationship between Arkham Knight and Batman. Batman's apparently the greatest detective ever, and he can't even figure out that fucking Arkham Knight is Jason Todd, even though Jason Todd's literally like, Batman, you fucking idiot, it's me. He's trying to convey to Batman, he's not trying real hard to keep it a secret that he is the Arkham Knight, and he knows exactly where to shoot him.
You're not going anywhere. Tri-weave titanium coated armor plating. Nice. Unless you know exactly where to shoot.
Where who's close to him, who, everything. It's like, and Batman goes, it must be someone from the asylum, and it's like, no, Batman. Also want to talk about the characters like Scarecrow take a huge backseat for characters like the Arkham Knight and everyone, and it's kind of dumb because in the game Scarecrow is kind of like a really good villain. He's actually really good. He has some really good dialogue scenes, and I think as being a villain, he's actually the best in the game. And I think Arkham Knight is just a whiny little bitch, and that's all Arkham Knight is. But I think Scarecrow is actually good, but it's too bad that he takes kind of a backseat to an obvious character. Oh, and also characters like, that are staples in the series, like Riddler and people like that, where they give you, Riddler thinks that testing your knowledge, the best way is to build a fucking racetrack, or have Batman do Batmobile puzzles by switching the racetrack lane in the game. And it's so dumb. It's the dumbest shit in the game, and I swear I played through Arkham Knight about 4 times. Every time I get tired of the game. I get tired of it by the end of the story. I'm so worn out. Also, another thing with Batman insists on not getting help from characters that could really help him out, since he's dying from Joker gas. He's literally dying and he does not want help. I understand Batman's character is kind of like, the lone wolf, kind of like brave, tough character, but his character, like, there's an exception, because he's fucking dying. He's dying and he won't get help, even though Robin and Nightwing, Batman's like, fuck off, and Robin and Nightwing go kind of do nothing, and it's like, why can't they just be here right now? Because it'd be very helpful to them, if they could just fight Arkham Knight and the game would be over. All right, let's move on to the story now. I think with Arkham City, I think they did a really bold move and a really ballsy move, killing the Joker off, and I really like that. And I kind of wish that I didn't play Arkham Knight, just so for the fact that I can, think that they are really ballsy and everything. They're not, because they bring Joker back, even though he's dead. They bring him back, and it's kind of like I love the Joker. The Joker is my favorite Batman villain, as many people's. It's just that Joker's returning, it's kind of a cop-out. It's kind of not you know, it's kind of like they didn't stick to their guns. They just kind of were like, yeah, well, people like him, so we're gonna bring him back. And it's so easy for Scarecrow to actually be a threatening villain. I like his villain, and I like that the way he is and what he like kind of does, but he does kind of do stupid things in the game. Like, for instance, not putting real people in the tanks. That could probably stop Batman, and probably, you know, that'd probably stop Batman for a while. Especially when they try to buttfuck you with 40 tanks in the game at once.
The Oracle.
I'll be out there fighting alongside you.
5,
4,
3,
2,
1.
let's finish this.
Also, I wouldn't mind that the Arkham Knight, like, reveal is kind of obvious, and I wouldn't mind it, but it just, Arkham Knight thinks it's such a clever game because it thinks that you know, like, showing you visions of Jason Todd's not obvious, and it's just very ominous, and you don't know what's going on, and you don't know who the Arkham Knight is.
Jason, I thought you were dead.
Batman? Is that you?
Batman's not coming to save you, Jason.
How come?
It's been 6 months now, Jason. I think it's time to face facts.
Screw you.
That's the spirit. You're a real chip off the old bat block. Not that it'll do you any good.
Why won't you just kill me?
What? Oh, no. I'm not going to kill you. Not yet, anyway. You're my sidekick now. Imagine it. You and me, out on the streets, starting fights, picking on the weak. A regular dynamic duo. Just like Bats and that new kid of his.
No, you wouldn't.
You think? So, this isn't Batman?
And you don't think for 1 second that maybe this is Jason Todd or anything. And it makes Batman think that, you know, makes Batman a dumb character, thinking that he doesn't know who he is. For, like, it's kind of obvious though. Also, I feel like with Arkham Knight, in general, by itself, I feel like it just has no stakes, because Arkham Knight, literally every character that dies comes back. Barbara dies, comes back. Joker dies, comes back. Not even the fucking Batmobile can have a proper death in this game. It comes back within the next 20 minutes of the story. And I was like, oh my fucking god, are you serious? Nothing in this game can really get a proper death.
The monster that will be your end, unless you pick up that gun and deny him.
Don't listen!
Please, no.
Barbara, it's me! Your friend.
You won't get me. I won't let you get me.
You will bring death to all who follow you.
Sir, what's happened?
She's gone, Alfred.
What do you mean?
Barbara. Scarecrow was punishing me. He killed her.
Oh, wait, one second.
I should protect her, Alfred. She's dead because of me.
He heard you. He's wondering how he lived himself. I'll catch him back. That will change the charge. No more enemies, no more pain, no more fear. Stop on. I think. No.
Alfred must have candidacy. Let me lead some look at others. GCPD. I think it's immune to Scarecrow's toxin. She doesn't have a choice.
Also, I want to talk about the storyline. There's just this one random mission where Harley Quinn kind of comes out of nowhere. And honestly, I don't know how I feel about it. Honestly, I feel like it's one of the better missions in the game, just because it's kind of like you and Robin kind of doing shit together. But at the same time, it feels so forced and out of nowhere just to bring her back. Like she literally, there's no mention of her in the story, and then she randomly just comes to the movie studios and messes with Robin, and then you got to help Robin, and then she's gone because you lock her up, and it makes kind of no sense, honestly. They should have actually saved her for one of those stupid DLC missions that they released with the Season of Infamy. That was not that good, but it would have made more sense. Okay, so moving on to gameplay. So the Batmobile is probably one of the most annoying things that I've ever played as in a game. It's pretty stupid. Don't get me wrong, the driving and everything, the driving around in the city is cool. And it's kind of useless to drive around because you can literally go faster flying around. But the driving I like, it's just the repetitive ass Batmobile tank missions. Literally, there's a point in the game where they spawn, I think it's 60 or 70 tanks in the game, and at that point I was done with it. I was like, oh my god, I just want it to end, because it's just that bad. And it's not like they go light on you. Like, that's one of the only sections in the game. It's actually like the 6th or 7th section of that in the game, and it's not fun. They try to force it on you, and it's just not fun every time. After, you know, when it first starts out, you're like, okay, this is okay, you know, it's not anything too exciting, and, you know, as it goes along, you're like, okay, and then once it gets to the final kind of ones, you're just like, oh my god, please end, please end. Okay, well, we'll say good things about this game. The fighting in the game is actually really good. It's the best of the series, and I really like the, just whenever you're doing combat and you're not in the Batmobile, and you're just on like the traditional Batman combat, it actually feels so great, and it just flows really well, and it just feels nice. It feels like, why can't we just get more of this rather than the tank stuff in the game? Also, the little side missions that are in the game kind of are stupid, because especially the boss fights, I put air quotes around boss fights. Air quotes, because there are not boss fights in the main story of the game. There are not. They're not really boss fights. Even the side mission part, Deathstroke's boss fight is literally like a recycle from Arkham Knight's boss fight, and it is ridiculous. It is ridiculous that they treat Deathstroke, a character like that, with such disrespect. Like a popular Batman villain, they treat him with the same respect as the Arkham Knight, and it's just kind of laughable.
Programming Cobra to respond. Force still in operation. You can't hide forever.
Just a matter of time before I find you, Dark Knight.
We've lost the Cobra. Maintain.
It's over, Batman. Gotham's dead.
We've lost one. Programming Cobra to respond.
Look around.
Also, talking about boss fights and everything, the Arkham Knight boss fights, or the Arkham Knight boss fight, I don't really want to count both of those as boss fights. The first one is stupid as fuck because you're doing a stealth mission in a tank. You're literally going behind the Arkham Knight in a tank with a stupid Batmobile tank missions, and you're shooting him from behind where he can't see you or anything like that, and it's really stupid. And at the end of the game, I feel like they kind of, like, it feels like they think that the culmination of all three games, this is what it's leading up to. The Arkham Knight boss battle, or the Arkham Knight character, you know, this is the, you know, this is the baddest villain in the whole series. This is the worst villain, you know, the biggest threat to Batman, and it kind of doesn't feel like that. And the boss battle leading up to, you know, all three games is so lackluster that it's laughable. It's ridiculous. It's literally a stealth mission, but to just get to a gargoyle where Jason Todd is, and then kind of knock him out. You don't have any cool ass like fighting style, because, you know, both that would make too much sense for Rocksteady to do for two characters that was trained by Batman, and Batman knowing so many fighting styles, just for them to not fight each other. That would make too much sense for Rocksteady, I think. I think that's honestly what it is, so they didn't decide to go that route.
Can't hide from me! Oh, can't look me in the eye? Come out!
Jason will see me coming. I need to get directly under his vantage point to take him down. Jason, I can help you.
There's no helping me! You're not the only one with sidekicks! Go get him, Batman! I've got some signals. Surveillance traces everywhere. Trying to locate origin. Signal's gone! Damn! Batman sighted! Restaurant entrance!
But yeah, I just want to say, I do think that Batman Arkham Knight is an okay game, and it has some good moments, but it's really overshadowed by its bad moments, whether it's, you know, Joker coming back, or Scarecrow getting pushed to the back, or, you know, not fun side missions, or not fun main missions, or Batmobile gameplay. It's just not... I feel like you could have a cohesive game, like a better game, if they just took a, like, if they could just take a little bit by a little bit out. Like, if they could just take a little bit of the game out, I feel like it would be much better. Like, if they could take, like, less Batmobile sections. Like, if you just took the tank out of the game, if you took the tank out of the game completely, and you could just drive the Batmobile, I feel like that'd be fine. I don't feel like they needed to add a tank part to the game. I feel like if you gave the, you know, side missions a little bit more, you know, proper ending to them, rather than locking them all up in Juicy Petey in the cage, you know, I feel like if you gave them a more epic ending, because this is the last game in the series, you know, to end it all off, and it's kind of not fun when you battle Deathstroke and you shoot him with you do a stealth mission on him on a tank, and after that you literally get out of the car and you don't control Batman at all, and you go in his car and knock him out, and then that's it, and you take him to GCPD. It's kind of unfulfilling, especially. But yeah, but I think that the fighting is amazing. The missions with Nightwing and Robin, they are so far and few between the story, but they are really enjoyable when you get to them. I just feel like there's too many bad missions in the bunch for me. But other than those missions being good, I feel like, you know, whenever you're fighting, it feels really good. I feel the Joker does add some element to the game, and it is really cool at the end when you get to, like, you actually become the Joker. And don't get me wrong, I do like the Joker sections, The Joker sections are pretty good. For me. So yeah, if you guys did like this video, please like and subscribe. I know I was rambling on, and if you are from Instagram, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys the most. If you like, just stay tuned, because my next video will be a Spider-Man ranking of all the Spider-Man games. Well, most of them, because there's a lot, and there's a lot that aren't really worth mentioning. But yeah, stay tuned, and thank you guys.